Hi guys, good morning. I'm in Silky Road in Canggu with the lovely Adriana.
Yes.
So happy to have her in this interview for the Connected community. So what I want to do is I want to share you guys the stories of real people, like what's behind like the surface, and sharing people's vulnerability, and that everybody has their own struggles. People who are successful, people who you don't know what's behind them. Like there's so much stories to tell, and everybody has their own story to tell. And so today we're here with Adriana.
Hey guys, excited to be here. Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, there's so many parts, I guess, to me and what I do and how I ended up here living in Bali. But in a nutshell, I ran a fashion label for 4 years, which was incredible. We were stocked all around the world, and I was like, this is my dream, it's what I wanted to do since I was 4, you know, created my own business, all this stuff was happening for me. And then all of a sudden, I felt totally out of alignment. I was getting sick all the time, I was always freaking tired, and I stopped, I quit. I threw in the towel. It wasn't that simple. It was a lot of me having to decide, is this an excuse because it's getting hard, or is this truly not in line with my values anymore? And that took a lot of soul searching. I ended up closing the business, taking 3 months off from life and work and everything.
That's a huge thing to take off. Like people keep on going and going, and then they know it's not right, but they don't take the step to take off, because that's also very scary, right?
Oh, it was huge. And I worked part-time, but I wasn't making obviously the same income anymore. I didn't feel like I fully had a purpose at that point, but I stayed true to what I was doing, which was finding my alignment again.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah,
soul searching.
That thing.
Yeah, that took you a lot of soul searching. Oh, look, lovely coffee. Perfect. Thank you.
It was all those little things, well not little, it was meditating and journaling and having really good friends around me that essentially got me where I am here today, which is living in Bali, having multiple streams of income that I love, finally feeling in alignment, and running a business online. So
yeah, that's amazing. You guys, to see like it's not from A to Z, like having success. It takes taking a step back, giving yourself time as well, right? To like go deeper into yourself and find it. It's not from A to Z living the life. You have to take the steps and you have to do the work. So,
and that's only like, obviously that's a snapshot of it. You can go in so much deeper, and I always say to people, you know, the work is in the work. We don't move unless you move. So it was, for me, it was going into the depths of my shit. So where was I hiding and really like not looking at? And that was where my answers were. And in all that time, I ended up having a spiritual awakening as well. So I was trying to understand everything that was going on at once. So it definitely wasn't simple, but looking at all those places I was avoiding grew me tenfold.
And what made you go deep and do the work? What was like the ultimate twist, the twisting point?
Because I knew I wanted more from my life, and I knew I could get more. But I also knew I had faced a series of trauma that I needed to look at and face and overcome, to stop recreating the same patterns. And if I truly wanted to have a better life and not keep repeating the same pattern over and over again, I had to forgive the pattern and move forward. So it was that was just that click moment of being like, if I want to be in true service to other people, I need to be in true service to myself.
And that's so beautiful.
It was a game changer.
And how did you start? What is the first steps you took in this
a lot of sleep. No.
Sleep over it again and again.
So many things. I was thinking about this the other day actually. What were my like key? If I could give somebody 3 things if they were at where I was at, it would definitely be to meditate. I committed to 10 minutes of meditation a day. Even before I got here, I said to Selma, I haven't meditated, I need 10 minutes because I want to be on, you know, at my best. It was that because it cleared my thoughts. It cleared me from A to B, and it helped me realize what is my first thought. So what is my true thought, not the thoughts that are noise or other people's. The other thing would be the process of forgiveness. So actually writing forgiveness letters. I have written to date, I think I'm on like 8 or 9. Wow. So many. It's the more you do, the more you realize you need to do. So
can you tell people what a forgiveness letter is?
Yeah, so pretty much the process of forgiveness is essentially the path to enlightenment. So it is the most effective way to rewire your neural pathways to have a new pattern or belief system. So it was literally letters to different people in my life, for example my dad, even people who are with me today, like certain friends, exes, people I dated, or people who had hurt me along the way, which there was definitely a lot of them, and it was really writing it to them but for me, telling the story and then forgiving them, but ultimately forgiving myself. Yeah, because there was always guilt, shame, or anger I was holding on to about myself, and that's what I tried to move through and let go of in the letter, and then essentially rip them up, burn them, get rid of them, release them, and keep doing them until you see that release. So that's,
it's like facing it and releasing it. It's so important. And what we do nowadays, we hold on to things that happened to us in the past, and we don't face it and work towards it. We don't face it in the eye, and we just push it away, be like, oh, deal with it, and we don't, because it comes back into our daily lives.
It comes everywhere, and I always say to, you know, the people I work with now, it's find the fear and freaking go to it. Yeah. Because that's where your results are. They're nowhere else. Yeah. And people can bullshit you to tell you they're somewhere else, but they're not. They're there. And I kept doing that time and time again. And the other thing was I spent a lot of time turning inward, you know, not looking for the answers so much. Turning inward and slowing down. That's the simplicity of it. And I reached out a lot. So as much as I turned inward, I reached out and I said, hey, I need a coach, I need a mentor, I need a healer that can really work with me closely. All these things, really good friends that I can turn to. So all these things, they make a big difference. And they're there if we look for them, if we ask for them.
Yeah, so actually like fear, like facing your fear, like you know something has to change, go towards the fear, don't run away from it, don't do that. Like, it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be so worth it in the long term, and a lot of times we don't realize that. We're like, oh, pushing it away, running away, but if you fear it, if you face the fear, it's going to be so much more valuable.
Yeah, there was so much value in that, and in the end I ended up, so I was doing all this work over and over again, and I ended up working on a client, a healing client, and getting totally jarred in my body. So I hurt from my back to my neck into my skull pretty much. I was jarred, so I could hardly move, I was in tears, couldn't eat, and I was in bed for 2 weeks. And I thought, what the hell is going on? I've done all this work, I'm looking at all this stuff, but this keeps happening, and the amount of times I've heard people say this. And I was like, okay, cool, like I had to sit through it. I ended up working with a body worker to heal, go through some of the pain that was sitting in my body, and remembering that our body is always telling us a message.
Oh yes, for sure.
And yeah, you know this now.
I know, yeah.
And a lot of what I teach is about that, because our physical pain is showing us that it's a direct thing. So, you know, my jaw tightness is resentment. Hip is fear. And our eyes are what don't we want to look at. So there's all these things that are telling us this message. So mine was my whole body. So I was like, all right, something's not right here. And I ended up tidying up a few things that I had been avoiding, pretending not to know. And
what was it? Share it. You want to share it with us?
What was it at the time? It was actually quite a few things, I'll be honest. But one of them was, what was I working on? It was not fully trusting my psychic ability. So what was happening was I realized I was psychic and a medium, and I was working with clients, but I would be in sessions and I would do two things. I would not fully trust myself, which happens to people not just in psychic readings, in life, constantly, and the other one was I was leaning too far in to other people's shit. And again, we're doing that not just in something like the extreme of a psychic reading, it's happening also in our day-to-day lives. And I was wearing other people's stuff as my own. And then not working on my own stuff. So that was a big thing in terms of the body pain. That was a big thing for me. And the other one was resentment towards my parents, which is common for a lot of people because that's who we were shaped by, fundamentally. So I had to sit back and look at all of them, and again, I was also writing, meditating, journaling, everything, healing work, and then as I got more and more in alignment, I got a phone call, and I was having this day, and I was like, well, this is all getting a bit boring, you know, and I got a phone call, and it was actually the guys that I work for now that moved me out here in Bali. It's like, hey, what's your vision for next year? This is December, so it's the end of the year. And I was like, oh, you know, this, I want to make this much money, I kind of want to do this and have this lifestyle. He's like, oh yeah, cool. Want to move to Bali?
And there it comes, the energy.
I was like, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is that moment that you wait for. But the key was two things I've realized now in reflection. This is now what, 5 months ago. I didn't make it so much about the outcome of getting this particular lifestyle whilst it was important to me. I also kept living as I already loved my life and kept healing as though I already loved what I was doing, though I already was in full alignment, and kept living from that place. And then this ends up coming to me. So a little side tangent story, but I think it's nice to see how it can go from the depths of being literally in bed for 2 weeks to the point where my mum would come in my room and be like, Adriana, I'm taking you to eat. Like, you need to eat. And I was like, I don't fucking know. But to then being like, getting myself to alignment again, and then a phone call like that a week later. It was wild. It was crazy.
It's also what you attract, right? Like, and it can be very like going from being either depressed or like not even want to go out of bed to like getting yourself to a point where you attract these amazing things in life. And I think that's amazing. That's so beautiful.
It was very exciting time.
So now you're in Bali for how long?
So, well, the funny thing was I'd come here to be 2 months on and 2 months off. But I'm only going home for 3 weeks. So sorry fam, I love you, but
that's the attraction that Bali has.
It does something too, I swear. So, yeah, and I feel definitely aligned here and where I'm meant to be, from both what I do with work and my clients, and both with myself and the journey that I am going on.
So a question I have for you is, like, nowadays, like on Instagram and like online, we have this image of people, right? People you see always the surface, and what is the hardest thing for you been about showing up as the real you? Like, not only the surface, not only beautiful human on a picture that you are, but like showing up as you are. What is the most difficult thing?
It's funny because I think I've always kind of really shown up just as me. You know, I don't wear much makeup. I hardly do my hair. Like, this is like as good as it gets.
You look beautiful though.
And to me, that's what real looks like to me. But understanding that it doesn't have to look like that to everybody. The most challenging thing for me at the moment is consistency. I'll be honest. I still get so nervous every time I post, every time I want to show up, and which is weird because I'm super confident and I'm super sure of myself. But there's still this little voice in my head that's saying, like, do people really want to hear from you? And that's overcoming that's a challenge. But I'm just me, you know. If I'm having a hard time, like I shared some of my anxiety techniques last week, and these people reached out and they're like, thank you. Because for me, it's like, I don't just want to show the dark, because at the end of the day, sometimes my dark stuff is my own. So I don't feel like, oh, you know, you need to show up as true and show everything. No, fuck that. If I am, if I am having a time that's inward for me, that is where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But if I'm having a time that's difficult, that I feel like, hey, I understand this enough to share it and support others, I'll share.
Yeah.
So it's just being as consistent as possible right now.
Yeah.
And being like, what does it look like to me today? And ask yourselves those powerful questions. It makes a world of difference. What does showing up consistently and as me look like today?
Yeah.
So today that might be snapping a little story of us and explaining what we chatted about. It might not be posting tonight if it makes me feel really icky. You know, it's really looking inward and asking ourselves, even when it comes to social media, you know, when I need a break, I ask myself, is this an excuse?
Yeah.
Am I avoiding? Or is this break because I truly need it?
Yeah.
So for me, the biggest challenge is just staying consistent for me and what it looks like to me.
Exactly. Just do whatever you feel like your intuition is telling you. And the best thing I could recommend is journaling, writing down, so you know what is showing up for you is and what you want to share with yourself and with others. And it's so interesting to me as well when I shared something about anxiety, like how many people deal with it. And I was scared also about sharing. I was like, oh, this is how I feel right now. But I'm like, actually, I want to share it and I want to receive some help as well. Like, hey, are you guys facing the same? And it's not only about, oh, showing I'm in Bali and I'm having a good time. I have anxiety too, and I have fear too. And definitely in doing the thing you love and trying to find your alignment, you're gonna face so much more fear than sitting in your comfort zone. So it's interesting when you share something to people that you're like, oh, should I share it or not? That's how I felt. And you see what you receive back, it's like, it's incredible, isn't it?
And you hear it all the time, you know, people want to see the real you and people want to, and you hear all this like shit, but unless you truly understand what it means to you and what you want it to look like, all of that stuff is just really nice quotes to hear. For me, it was really searching and being like, what message do I want to convey with this audience? How am I trying to shift and change the world on perspective right now? And I did it with my fashion label, and we grew a really big following, and now I'm doing it with my personal brand as well. So, but it's getting really intentional, and I'm actually in the middle of writing up a flow chart for my wall that I can keep coming back to. That's like, this is why I share content, this is why I walk and talk it, this is why I embody it. You can keep coming back to and find what it is for you.
That's beautiful. And if people are here wanting to make a big change in either their jobs, their relationships, their life, what is the advice you can give them? Where to start?
It's so funny because so many people I work with are in what I call transition. And the biggest thing I'm working on with loads of people at the moment is foundation. So that means simply setting up your building blocks to start. We can't make any really big decisions while our head is like everywhere. It's also the fact that you already know the answer. You know it. You know, every time you ask yourself, should I quit or stay? There's a little voice, and this is, I talked about it before, it's called your first voice. And it whispers and it says, quit the job. And then everything else comes in, and it's like your ego, your parents, your friends, the money, and all this reasoning comes in, and it's called the noise. When you listen to the noise. But every time it's like, I've never actually shared this story when I wanted to leave my ex-boyfriend, who was incredible, in case someone's listening to this. But it didn't feel good to me anymore, and every time I thought about it, a little voice said, you know you need to leave. But then everything else talked on top of it. And this is how I actually learned to listen to the first voice, was through an excruciating experience like that, which for a lot of people listening is huge. You know, it's the fact that we were together for 6 years. I wanted to marry him, and I was completely in love, but something didn't feel right. And I was like, shit. And every time I thought of it, all I heard was the noise. And that's how I learned this thing called the first voice. And the key is that it whispers. So if you're in transition, it's two things. It's listening to the whisper, making sense of it. Same thing happened when I wanted to leave the brand. Same thing happened with moving to Bali, whether I should or shouldn't. Same thing happens all the bloody time, really, and big and small things. Start making decisive decisions on small things, so to practice that muscle, and build foundations. So an example just of foundations, different to everybody, but it's things like your non-negotiables, so meditating, journaling, whatever that looks like to you, your morning and night routines, whatever foundations looks like to you, creating that foundation, because that's where mental health really is, and where it really starts, and that's where we forget to look at, and we're just like, have this and do this and do this. It's like, no, start from the base and work your way up, and yes, this will come. So
it's so interesting. And to give a little example, like when you're building a house, you do it brick by brick. It's not like putting the house there, it's not stable, so you have to put it brick by brick to build a good foundation, to build a stable house. And it's the same with building your dream or like making that change. You have to do it brick by brick, so little steps at a time to build a good foundation. It's like, it's the same in human life than in building a house. So it's so
exactly
beautiful.
Right.
And what is your routine? So what do your routine looks like?
I just drank that and then went down the wrong way. I'm still learning, so I'll be really honest that for me it's like, how can I keep tweaking this to best serve me right now? It started off as waking up at 7 AM and exercising and meditating and all of that, but what I realized was I was really struggling to commit to it, and I couldn't work out why. So I'm still playing with what my routine really looks like, but one thing I'm doing is picking my non-negotiables. So they are in the morning, it's meditate, take my vitamins, take deep breaths, set my intention for the day, and get ready and feel nice, whatever feeling nice looks like to me today. And at night, it's really important that I'm journaling, tracking where I'm at in my cycle to understand what my body needs, and setting up my room for like success. So putting my essential oils on, tidying a few things up, and then my non-negotiables morning and night. So no matter what variables are sent my way, emotions or hard days or really bouts of feeling really tired, they're my non-negotiables, and I work very intuitively. So for me it's like, okay, how can I get a lot done today? And I'm very structured, super structured. So
you are. She's the most structured person here in Bali.
I love it. But I'm learning to like have this like intuition with my structure. So you know, how can I set out my week for success but still flow with that? So for example, today it's really important that in my routine I have, you know, this time, and I set plenty of time for it, so I'm not rushing. I set plenty of time to work on my next business, and then tonight is for one of my other businesses. So that's already set in. Part of me knows, because I didn't follow my routine fully this morning, that I need some more downtime today. So it's about being flexible but still having this routine.
Balancing it out.
And exercising. So it's, you know, going to the gym, going for a run, whatever it means to me at the moment, which is gym and running. It's committing to that and staying in alignment, but remembering not to push myself. Again, it's a powerful question. Is this an excuse for my routine, or is this following myself? And to start with, they will do your head in. The questions will do your head in. But you start to learn to listen. So that's kind of what my routine is like.
That's good. And also what's so important is not, I have to meditate or I have to journal, because at the moment you're going to say you have to do things, you're going to be not doing it. So being inflexible and being like, make it as a joyful thing in the morning and embrace it.
And it's really, that notion of I get to do this to set myself up better. I get to do this to be more in service. I get to do this to, you know, allow the demons in my own mind to subside a little bit, and I can look at them now and I can say, you know, thank you for coming. But I don't need you right now, because I know they're just old stories and old demons that want to just infiltrate my system. So it's being able to do all that.
That's amazing. So like, next to routine, also values are an important thing in life. So I'm very curious, what are your top 3 values and why?
I love them. So I've really learned lately, thanks to the wonderful Emil Steinberg, shout out, that your values really are a guiding compass for your freaking whole life. So for me, I picked the ones that I found the hardest and I made them my absolute core values. They're actually my screensaver on my phone.
Yeah.
So for me, one of them was vulnerability. I seem like I'm someone who shows up and gives, but the truth is my walls are so high and I'm very complex and I'm quite guarded. So vulnerability, showing when I'm emotional, putting my hand up when I need help, crying if I need to cry, and feeling my emotions. It sounds so simple, so many of us don't do it.
Yeah.
The other core one was surrender. And you hear this word getting thrown around at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, surrender.
It's a trend. No.
I'm so cross. But really, when I break it down, it meant letting go and trusting my life, and honestly saying I trust the timing of my life. For example, this morning, we were actually late to do this. We couldn't find a spot and we were riding around, and that's the truth of the behind what happens when you're creating, and that's real life. And I thought to myself, how can I surrender to this? How can I trust that the time we start is the exact time my body, mind and soul are going to be in flow to serve? How can I trust that riding the bike that way, not that way, was exactly where I meant to be? How can I surrender to a guy not texting me back and just being like, cool,
that's fine, I surrender.
Not cool, by the way, now.
Just text that guy.
It's a whole nother issue. But that was surrender.
Yeah.
The third core value, I have a few, but was compassion.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh my god. Did I realize how cruel I am to myself when I made that my core value? And then what I did is, which is really important for you guys to break down how they're actually ambition, consistency, all my like masculine traits, being like do more, be more. And then when I looked at them, I was like, shit, I'm recreating the same pattern. I am ambitious already. I am playful already. It's like, cool, I'm wanting more of that side, but what I really needed was to bring up my yin side. So
I like it. Sometimes it's more about what you need, not always what you want, which is going to bring you the best results as well.
Exactly right.
So I'm wondering, since surrender is one of your values, how is that being such a structured person? Like, you want to have like a bit of control on things to implement that in your life.
I am a recovering control. But to implement it, it was trust. It all came down to trusting the plan, trusting the universe or whatever it is that you believe in, and trusting myself. Literally trusting the voice in my head. The first voice, not the bullshit voice. So that was a really big notion for me to surrender, and literally just doing this. Every time mentally I'm like controlling the shit out of something. It was doing the thing and doing this. We can control our action, but we can't control the outcome.
No.
We just can't. Bottom line.
I think we can control life, but we can have this whole plan set up and one thing can come past it and just ruins it all up. Even though you plan for your whole life, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan, some little thing can come into your life. And
it's realizing it's never ruining it, it's increasing it, it's redirecting it, and sometimes it's testing you to make sure you really want it as well.
Exactly.
But I think it's 50-50 is what I'm learning. So it's 50% of us being in control and taking action and living our purpose and being in alignment, and it's 50% trusting, surrendering, saying to the universe, cool, I know you got my back. Let's do this. Show me what's next. So surrender, that's kind of how I'm implementing it now, and I'm always reminding myself every day. It's like surrender, let go, trust.
Beautiful. That's so amazing. So you're also a healer. So tell me a little bit more about you being a healer and how do you serve people? So it was a wild journey. I love a good backstory. So tiny backstory is last year when I was going through the break that I talked about earlier in the interview, it was this thing that
what the hell was happening. I was starting to hear voices, and I was starting to see shapes and colors and letters and numbers. I started to see spirit. I started to get message from spirits, and I was like, that's it, send me to the loony bin, I'm losing my bloody mind. And then with some support from some really amazing people, I realized that it was a gift, and a gift that I'd been actually just ignoring my entire life.
Yeah.
It had always been there. This had always been happening since I was about 4 years old. Was when I got my first kind of downloads or messages. But I never realized really what was happening, and it was quite a deep time. If anyone's been there, you really understand how confronting it can be. And then I started to practice on friends. So I sent out a text to all my beautiful friends, and I said, hey guys, I realized I can read energy, and I really want to see if I can practice on you. I said you're a yes, let's make a time and come over. So I practiced on all these people for months and months and months until I really harnessed my skills, so I was ready to serve for other people that were going to exchange with money. And money is just an energy exchange. It was, hey, I'm giving you all my energy right now, and you're giving me the energy of money. Now when I'm in someone's energy field, I am learning how far in I want to go, but it's all about releasing blockages and limitations. So where in your energy field is there a blockage, and how can we go in there and take it out? And what set it there? So was it an old programming? Was it something you were told? Is it in your future? Is it in your present? And in which chakra point are we looking at? So a lot of people I work with have solar plexus energy that's really stuck, and that's not listening to our creativity, not fully aligning with our purpose, what our ideas are, and suppressing them. So we look at the truth, we ignore the bullshit, we bring it up, and then we look at action steps and how to move forward. Every session though, I'm learning is super different, and that's the beauty of it. Because I have so many modalities I work with, that I allow it to be what the person in front of me needs right now, and no more than that. You don't want to overserve either, because I end up depleted, and a lot of people in this work do. And it's not sustainable. So that's what I do now as a healer, and I call it a reading. So it's all about reading your energy and reading your body language, reading your stuck points, looking at physical pain and what that means emotionally as well. Because that's what physical pain is, like you said before. It's all a mental message. So it's a really beautiful journey. I love that sharing with people,
help people and serve people in a certain way. That's amazing. And you say a lot of people have problems with their solar plexus. You call it solar plexus? Solar plexus. Yes. So they're suppressing. So what are most people suppressing?
The truth.
The truth.
Or what they really want to do. So a lot of it, when I'm working, a lot of it's about creative energy. So really what they want to be creating, the businesses they want to be, their career. So a lot of the time, and this is different for different readers, but for me, when I'm in this energy, it's a lot about suppressing all those things, ideas, creation, our business ideas, where we want to go next, whether we should stay or leave this job, whether we're listening to our ideas, whether we're being creative. You know, you might be an accountant but really want to paint that night, but you think that's ridiculous, so we're suppressing every little thing we're doing that's not in alignment. We're suppressing. A lot of people also have like a bubbly energy, which is a really fun one to see. Bubbly energy means we're sitting with an idea, and we're in that moment where I was a few weeks ago, and I'm creating something new right now, where we're in creation and our solar plexus just bubbles and bubbles and bubbles. And that's really a fun one to see too. So another one is indigestion. And so if someone is really ignoring their stuff, I'll get indigestion, and I'll say to them, like, I have indigestion, I know that means you're suppressing. So I get physical symptoms as well while I'm reading energy, and that's a big one.
I can imagine. It's like influencing your own energy as well.
And I'm like, wow, what are we suppressing? And that can also be, if it comes up into their throat, that can be because they're not expressing something verbally as well. So it really depends where it connects to, and that will help me understand where we need to go next to best support the person in front of me.
So maybe people are watching and they are suppressing as well. They're having problem with their solar plexus. What is a thing you can recommend them?
So lots of things I share. One is, I'm going to say it again, just in case you guys don't do it. meditate.
Meditation is such a big one, guys.
But it's also just asking yourself this question. So powerful questions for starters. But one I ask myself, if nothing was a thing. So when I say that, it's not an eloquent question. It's the way I get the answer. If nothing was a thing, money, time, people, what would I do? I write it down. For me, I was like, cool, I would move to Bali part-time. I would connect with people only that so my highest good, and I would be in a business I love. And then it was like, okay, how does that look to me? A lot of people think I moved to Bali, I can't, the money, the this, that, the
It's the old blocks, not the opportunity.
and you're
right?
in here, we're in analyzer mode, we're in thinking mode, which is a place we need. We're in critical mode. But how do we get to soul again, to our soul purpose again? So it's asking really powerful questions, you know, even when you're meditating, popping both hands on your solar plexus, so you're giving that energy to that spot. And seeing someone, seeing a healer or a Reiki master or anything that resonates with you, a coach, anything, and start talking about what this truly is for you. That fundamentally, those things together will step you there. It's not about getting there.
Yeah.
It's about one step in front of the other.
One step at a time, one brick at a time, guys.
Yeah. It all comes back to the same shit.
Yeah. It's been in my life such a big thing. I'm always a person who goes from A to Z. And I don't want to take the little steps. Hell no, like that's too complicated. Don't want to do the work. Want to go from A to Z. And that doesn't work. Like I've been like running into walls so many times, like hurting myself with this. And it's a big lesson to learn to go from A to B. And it's the work you have to put in there. So you really have to find the thing that you want to put the work in for as well.
And create it into these really little actionable steps. And you know, for you with all like the little injuries and how things have had pop up, they're all just showing you, hey, we're on the wrong track. If you don't listen to me, it's like I will tap you and I will make you listen to me. And we think, why does this keep happening? Okay, why am I still sick? Or why am I still this? It's like, well, you've ignored all the signs. So whatever you believe in had no bloody choice other than to be like, hey.
We stop you right here. We're gonna have you sick, pain here. I lost sight in one eye. I mean, my body's telling me something. I broke my Achilles twice. Like, I was running too fast in the wrong direction. Didn't listen. So universe said, you know what? We're just gonna make sure you cannot walk.
And this isn't fluffy shit, you guys. You know,
real.
either. This is stuff that if you look at some of the work around this at the moment, some of the readings on it at the moment, it's the fact that there is consistencies with where the pain is with our body, in our body, and what we are trying to be shown. And it is, once you are in this world and looking at it, you cannot deny it.
It's there.
It's there, through and through. So make it actionable though. Don't get to remove overwhelm, because that's where we fall in the trap. To remove the overwhelm, make it actionable. How can I action this one tiny step at a time? I can't change everything. I'm not exactly who I wanted to be right now. But how can I keep actioning one step at a time? Make it little, make it achievable, and make it so you can see it, so you can almost watch it scale, watch it grow, watch it have, oh, okay, yep, now I'm doing that part, now I'm doing that part. Clearly I'm an analyzer. You know, make it so it looks attractive to you.
And also making sure you realize, right, what is your ego talking to you and what's not. Like, is your ego telling you, yeah, but I cannot do that, or I cannot quit my job, or I'll lose the money, or like being in your head too much on the ego side, and rather than what is here, what do you want to do, right?
And again, it's all meditation.
Meditate.
Again, so
a good application, maybe you have a recommendation as well, but One Giant Mind, also Emile Steenfeld, thank you for that one. It's a very good application to learn you in 30 days how to meditate. So if you have problems getting into meditation, which I had as well, it's hard to sit down and like listen to that monkey mind and like, it's hard, but One Giant Mind is a really good application to start meditating with.
And start just writing down. So I do a process which I'll share quickly as well, because it might be beneficial, which is an awareness technique. So it's just going through 3 things you can see right now, so in the moment, and do it. Like 3 things like you can see, say them. 3 things you can feel, so you know, your t-shirt on you, you know, your feet on the ground, your tongue in your mouth, whatever it is. 3 things you can hear: a bike, a chainsaw, a cup, you know, touch the bottom, anything. So all those 3 things will bring you in to the present moment. So say the 3, so feel, see, hear, and then 3 things you are really grateful for. So, and go really deep with them, like profound gratitude in this moment. And if you can't think of anything, be grateful that your legs work, or your heart is beating, or that your eyes blink open and shut, because it's a necessity. And then 3 things, if I'm really anxious, 3 things I'm worried about right now, and then I diffuse them. So I don't fuse, which is cognitive fusion. So if you look at acceptance and commitment therapy, when we fuse with our thought, it's defusing them. So for example, right now I'm worried that, I'll be really honest, that today I really want time to go to the sauna, but I keep telling myself I won't have the time. So what is the simplest result? I either go tomorrow, or I pick an hour today and I go. Oh my gosh, that problem became simple.
Yeah.
I'm worried about something really basic that I don't want to share because it's stupid, but it's the truth. Okay, let's say I'm going to share it. I'm waiting for 2 texts back. One is on a personal level and one is on a business level. Okay. So I'm waiting for 2 important replies. Yeah. And I keep looping them in my brain. You know, will this business person reply to me? It's a really great opportunity. And will this personal thing reply to me? Dating life. And it's like it's like that thing of, okay, how can I simplify that thought that feels overwhelming? Obviously these are simple, trivial things, guys. Sometimes they're obviously much deeper than this, but it's giving a simple solution. So, and it's meant to be quick. If they don't text back, big deal, life goes on.
Surrender.
So all of a sudden, these things that are like looping in your mind are so simple. Yeah. So it's about me, and remember, with defusing from them, it's quick. So then it's just 3 things. So bang, the text, okay, simple solution. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I'm most viable. I can go later, I can go tomorrow, solved. So it's picking 3 simple things. So this is part of this exercise, and diffusing from them as quick as possible. Obviously, if some are really deep, like ongoing issues, it's like, cool, how could I solve that really quickly? Call a friend, write about it,
ask for help.
Yeah, so that's a little tangible. I love tangible shit. Yeah, you can do as well.
It's so good though. Actually, yeah, I should do that as well. I had this situation yesterday, which I had to have a talk with someone and actually disappoint someone. I knew I was disappointing someone, and I was like so nervous to have this talk. And like, what if they think this? What if they do that? Like looping in my mind, and at the end, someone was just like, hey, I understand, no problem. So the whole day I was looping this in my mind and being like, oh shit, it's gonna be very hard, it's gonna be very difficult. Even putting my head on the table, like, oh, I don't want to have this conversation. And it ended up being so relaxed. So I should have done that. Be like, hey, either they're gonna be disappointed and I shouldn't be doing not such a people pleaser, or they're gonna be okay with it. It's gonna be actually, and it's not that hard. You make it so hard in your head, right?
Yeah, and it's asking yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen? You know, and if say you had called me and saying, you know, this is what's happening, I would have literally said to you, okay, what's the worst thing that could happen? They're disappointed, and then I would say, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You'd say, well, they won't talk to me anymore. What's the worst thing that would happen? We're not friends. What's the worst thing that would happen? Well, we won't be friends. Yeah. Cool. Are you alive? Are you breathing? Yeah. Sweet.
Still healthy. And you have maybe other people coming into your life, attracting other things in your life that should be there.
And that's alignment at the end of the day, because if you didn't have the conversation, you're out of alignment, and then that universal loop keeps happening. Trust the universe and trust that everything happens for you and not against you. Exactly.
That's beautiful. So I had a lot of questions like set up and whatever, but I always end the question with, what sentence would you tell someone about living good? If there's one sentence you could tell anybody like about living a good life, what would it be?
It's super simple. This too shall pass. And guys, it's both facets. So it's that the bad shit will pass, but so will the good shit. Yeah. And if we're not living fully present in both, or learning one step at a time how to be more present, then we fall short. So it's this too shall pass. The pain, the struggle, it's passing. You're already doing it. And the good stuff, the beauty that I'm living in Bali, this isn't gonna happen forever. Well, it might, but not how it is right now.
So embrace it, be grateful.
It's so simple, but and this too shall pass is truly, guys, it's what got through me losing my dad. When my dad died, I was 18 years old, and all I had to hold on to was this too shall pass. And to be honest, that made me freaking angry at the time, because I didn't want to be healed from his death. I wanted him back. I wanted him with us. It was bullshit. But then I just kept saying, this absolute pain I'm in, this will pass. And sometimes it's the simplest, most like historical quotes or sayings that get us through. And I held on to it and I wrote it. I would just write it in journals. I could find some, but it got me through to where I am 7 years later. I think since then I'm fully at peace with what happened, and I'm learning to be slowly. But it was, this too shall pass.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Adriana, where can people find you?
Everywhere. No.
Everywhere.
Instagram. So I always, I love sharing my journey there. I love connecting with people there. And it's really the main platform I'm using. It's so fun. So it's Adriana, Adriana, loves, with an underscore at the end, but I'm sure someone will pop it somewhere for you.
I'll pop it on there on the video.
Yeah, check it out and let me know. Like, I love hearing people's biggest takeaways. Like when they message me like, this really resonated, or this is what I needed to hear. I'm like, yes, and not in an ego way. It's in that way of, cool, how can I keep serving and showing up the way that's gonna serve the people that are being drawn to me. And I believe that there's lots of good nuggets in this. I could talk forever and a day about all this stuff because I love it. And I love this journey. It's so beautiful. Fall in love with the work as well.
Fall in love with your life as well, right?
And because the hard work doesn't stop. Like right now, I'm in the middle of more of different hard work, and it's falling in love with that part.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for connecting with us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for connecting with us as well as the connected community. We love sharing people's stories. So if you have a good story to tell, comment. If you have questions, comment. And also there's a little button that says subscribe. Subscribe to get connected and stay connected with us and the stories we tell. Thank you so much. So much love from Bali.
Thank you.